welcome back, everyone. Let's play some more Legacy on the channel. Most of us followed Eternal Weekend just the prior weekend, and we saw a serious downtick in Blue-Black Tempo. Blue-Black Tempo features Nethergoyf, Bowmasters, and Baragoyf in the 75, which is a deadly trio from the point of view of Izzet Tempo. However, with those cards stock being relatively low, I think it's a great time to revisit a good old school Delver. And I got some inspiration at the event, and I think I made some cool small improvements. So first of all, this color combination has been a bit tricky to find the right main deck graveyard hate. A friend of mine suggested this card recently, Noxus Revival, and I actually really like it. So this card will be a 0-mana counter target reanimate, and even be, it's even better, I would argue, because it puts the fatty on top of the opponent's deck, that it's most likely going to be a pseudo time walk. This card, when you're not playing against Reanimator, Oops All Spells, whatever, still has a lot of utility in the deck. It's serviceable to ensure a Delver flip. It's serviceable to get a little bit of Channeler value, build your graveyard further for Murktide, grow your Murktide even. You can get to trigger your Cutter. You can get back a key sideboard card, Key Wasteland. I think this card is actually playable. This is nothing. It's of course not a great card when you're not up against graveyard, but it's a reasonable card. So I think this is the big breakthrough. I'm on the full 8 1-drops. I think it's crucial to start the games on turn 1 Delver or turn 1 Channeler. I'm a little bit down on Core Steel Cutter. I really wanted to fit a 5th Bauble into the deck, but I couldn't, because of space. I love the full 4 Dazes when I'm playing 8 1-drops. I'm on the slim 18 land mana baits with no Surveil. I think 18 lands with Surveil is a little bit ambitious. I love the 9th cantrip. I want to keep the engine running with Corey. And then I just have a couple of Murktides on top. So all in all, some trims in order to fit Noxus Revival, which then in turn gives me a better Reanimator matchup and frees up some sideboard slots. So speaking about the sideboard, I love the 3rd Consign with Mystic Forge on the rise. We have some stock for me anyway, double Hydro, double Negation, 2 Chalice removal. This time I'm going for 2 Abrades. Pseudomere, killing Corey, killing Channeler, killing Delver is more important than sweeping up some stuff with Meltdown. Could easily change. You could easily play 1 Abrade, 1 Meltdown. 3 Pyroblast, I feel like it's standard, especially in Eternal Weekend season where Nadu is kind of roaming around the streets. Murktide Region is always a card. Then a 3rd Graveyard Hate card, which could be something else. You can argue that Noxus Revival in the sideboard should be a targeted hate card because, then you're only bringing it in when it's actually good. But I actually want to try out this card. So if you're putting a Surgical in this slot, don't sweat it. That's probably very, very decent. And then a couple of copies of Price of Progress that a friend of mine had really good success with, and I like a lot in theory to back up my 8 1-drops and just have that kind of oomph against decks like Breakfast, Mystic Forge, lands, etc. So yeah, this is old school Tempo with a slightly new twist of Noxus Revival. Let's see how it performs. All right, Izzet Delver, round 1, no lander. Let's click the mulligan button. This is a lot better. So now let's see. How do I play this hand? Playing in the dark against unknown opponent. Maybe this Force of Will is a little too ambitious. Let's get rid of the Force of Will. And now, my opponent's on a mull to 5, so I'm instantly regretting not keeping the Force. So let's see, what does that mean? Mulligan to 4. I don't even know which deck would do that aside from Oops All Spells, so yes. Yeah, instant regret when it comes to the Force. So I have a choice to make here turn 1, whether I want to bobble or not. But I think I'm supposed to bobble turn 1. Channeler. Let's see. I think more or less any non-Force of Will, non-land card goes to the yard here. Let's see what we're up against. Tundra. Multi-4 Tundra. Ursa Will is probably quite strong. Ursa Saga. Okay, so I'm playing against Cephalid Breakfast. That's pretty cool. Land here would be amazing. So maybe the move is Brainstorm. Let's see. Brainstorm gives me Delirium. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, let's try that. And it digs for land, Wasteland. Let's see what we can do here. Let's put Ponder into the yard. Let's draw 3. There's a Wasteland. So now I really want to mill this Cutter. I don't think that card's going to do anything. So what I can do now is go Murktide back, Cutter back, Bauble, mill the Cutter. Look at my opponent's top card. There's a Tamiyo. Wasting this Saga. Maybe I'm supposed to Wasteland the next land. Yeah, I made a mistake here. I was too fast. What I should have done here was slow roll this Wasteland. Then my opponent hopefully plays the Tundra. I waste the Tundra, and then I kind of leave my opponent stranding. Yeah, this was not good. Okay. They played the Tundra anyway. Here's Tamiyo. So, what do I think about this Tamiyo? It's probably beatable. So, let's see. Wow, what a draw. That's insane. So, first let me Wasteland to make sure my opponent can't do some day shenanigans. Then I'm going to Bolt to Tamiyo, keep attacking. Then hopefully I'm going to win the counter war over their Cephalid Illusionist. Land lets me cast Murktide Regent and win the game a bit faster, so I like that. So right now I have a Daze and a Force Pitching a Daze as backup, and then the Murktide Regent as that's the way to close the game. Playing like this against Breakfast with Ursa Saga is a thing I can recommend. Then you get into spots where they kind of land destructs themselves. So here's this play. It's just when they multi 4, they're on a turbo combo. This is going to be Illusionist 99 times out of 100. And now if they have Force Blue card, I will Force back. No Force Blue card. All right, so we're doing well for ourselves here. Let's attack for 3. Still holding Force. So in theory, they could have Land Illusionist. Here's a redundant Ursa Saga. Swords to Plowshares on that card is fine since I have Murktide Regent. Opponent has 1 card. Murktide Regent, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a land. This is a 2-turn clock. Pass. Now I fight over removal. The best possible the opponent can have here is removal alongside combo piece back to back. Looks like they don't have it. I'm not going to play the Cutter since it opens me up for days. Let's see. They have 1 card. If that card is... Let's say that card is Nadu for the sake of argument. They surveil into what? Days and keep it? They would have cast a Nadu already. So if I play this and they have Days as the last card, then they're going to surveil into Nadu, slam Nadu. I think I'm fine. Because I have Days and Force. What about Illusionist plus Days? Illusionist plus Days. Yeah, that's the reason to not do it. Okay. All right. I think this is going to be a Meticulous Archive. And No, the opponent is not going to forego the tokens. They're going to give themselves a chance to draw a plow, maybe? I think they're just dead to the Murktide, but let's see what happens. The opponent's going to give it a go. Ghost Vacuum, sure. Here's Ponder. That card is also fine. All right, looks like we bested the 4-card Breakfast hand. Cephalid Breakfast is a cool one. So Pyroblast, good. Price of Progress, something to consider. Noxus Revival, probably bad. Ace, not ideal. Brazen Borrower, not ideal. So as a start, I like these 5 for these 5. Now the question is, do I want a Braid against that deck? It's probably not bad, but is it better than some of my other cards? Is it better than Days? I could certainly see it being better than Days. I love my Wastelands. I think the prices could be good in a longer game where I'm getting in a few hits. I have all of my removal. This is a matchup where you don't need the 2 Braids. The crossover to this matchup is negligible. So if this was a Meltdown, I would just probably keep it in the sideboard. Maybe even bring it in. It might be fine. All right, let's try this against Breakfast. Let's see if both players can have 7-card starting hands. That would be kind of cool to see. Even though the low resource games are also useful because you learn how to play when you're ahead on cards, slam the door, expect the opponent. So the thing about mulligans is that they still have 7 cards to look at and then curate their best hand. This is not like 20 years ago or 10 years ago. Yeah, time flies. Where, you only get to draw 4, right? So it's a little bit different these days. I've seen plenty of players underestimate Oops All Spells, 5-card hands, etc., etc. All right, so let's see here. This hand is unfortunately a mulligan because that island is not one of my red-blue sources. All right, I see. So keep this, get rid of 2 baubles. Yeah, I have to get very lucky to win this game. Because, sure, this hand has answers, but the opponent can kind of run me out of those. So now let's see how the strategy changes from my opponent's side of the table, playing against a 5. So they will know that I probably can't justify having Wasteland in my hand. It looks like they disagree about that. So now I have 2 options. I can hold up removal, but I think that's bad. I think I'm supposed to get going here. I will now have to force an illusionist that otherwise I could have, handled with my red spells, but I think this is how I need to play. If they have illusionist with backup here, I'm fine losing that game. Here's Tamiyo, a card that you can frequently handle. So let's see. If they had Brainstorm, would they have cast it? Maybe. So now the question is, should I, on upkeep, try and lightning bolt that card? And if it happens, will I force a Brainstorm? I will do this, and I'm not going to force a Brainstorm. Here's the Surveil. This is me trying to get to essentially a land, build my graveyard for Delirium, etc., etc. Upkeep is a decent base for this deck. So if I manage to get to Delirium, I can just attack dead the Tamiyo, and the flip doesn't do anything. That is a little bit unlikely, though. I'm going to let this happen no matter what, because Pyroblast handles this card down the road. The opponent probably should have let me resolve this trigger first. Price has to go. So, yeah, land would be amazing. If I don't draw land, I could be in trouble. What do I do if I draw land? Tough situation no matter what. If I draw land, I have instant in the graveyard. If I go land ponder, that's 3, and I need to hit another type. Maybe I just attack for 1 and pass holding up Pyro. Okay. Yeah, I guess this is just why it's tough to play from 5 cards. You get into bad spots. Yeah, let's see what the opponent's up to. Not much to see right now. I draw Wasteland. Wasteland, the Tundra seems decent. Let's keep Nadu at bay. Let's attack the Tamiyo. I guess I'm ready with the upkeep Pyro. Wasteland was probably a pretty good draw. It's part of my route to victory when I'm playing 5 versus 7 to strand cards in my opponent's hand. Wasteland is a card that gives me a shot at exactly that. So here comes Nomad and Core. That card is all goody. Here comes the equip. I'm probably passing the turn. I will this time kill the Tamiyo. I don't want my opponent to bring back stuff. Digging for Wasteland on the upkeep. Seems like a decent habit at this point. I guess I take any land here. I put any sorcery, artifact, you name it, into the graveyard. Trying to get Delirium here. If my opponent forces here, I wonder what I do. I don't force, and I draw land. So this Ponder could give me Delirium. If I break on a blue card, I'm in trouble, but I think I have to keep the engine running here. So maybe just ensure the blue card. I guess the best for me to see here is a bauble so that I get Delirium, can mill a card, and draw into the Brainstorm. Daze right now wouldn't, you know, my opponent could have just dazed the Force of Will, right? So Daze is not the end of the world here. Ooh, these cards are not ideal. I guess I keep them. And now I have to pass. If I have to Force a Will and Nadu, I'll mill 1 Flooded Strand, draw the other. No Surveil in the deck, I have to remember. Yeah, this game is just the difference between 5 and 7 cards, but it's cool to try and make the most of having few resources. Brainstorm resolves, and I think my opponent officially is out of the danger zone after my Wasteland. Also, just think about Wasteland as a 1-for-1 resource trade, right? And that is generally quite bad when you're mulliganing to 5, so it's more of a Hail Mary. Nice mill over here with Red Return. The opponent is not interested in attacking. I'm going to draw the Flooded Strand. I'm going to mill a Flooded Strand. And I'm going to have some bad draws here. So now I need to rely on Wasteland to keep Nadu at bay. Yeah, this is very bad for me. Sure, put back 2 fetches. Keep my opponent off green, because That's the 3-drop that can kill me. If I attack here, my opponent blocks. Is that something I'm interested in? I don't think so. I think I need to be very lucky here and get to Delirium. Because my next card is a brick. And then I'm going to mill a land over with... I guess I'll fetch and play Cutter, because I could hit Delirium. I just guess I'm dead here to Nadu. So all of that is kind of in vain. Okay. So the opponent combos me out. No problem. Base gets a lot better now on the play. Does that change anything for me? I could see a daze over something like maybe even both the braids. Maybe that's fine on the play. I think I have enough removal here with the Pyroblast doing some double duty. All right, this hand is quite awesome. This puts on a lot of pressure. So let's see. If my opponent just goes turn 1 plow, I probably prefer that to happen onto a Delver. Then I'm going to let that happen, deploy 2 creatures. Lightning Bolt is my card to not lose to the Nomad Illusionist combo. It also has to kill a Tamiyo, which is, you know, what the deck does and is very good at. Turn 1 Ponder is very acceptable. Something I have to be careful about is the false sense of security. And then all of a sudden, Cavern plus Nadu will get me. Let's see if we can flip this Delver. That would be insane for our chances here. We get to flip a Delver with a Daze. So let's see here. Play land, play Channeler, fetch another Volcanic, play Delver. And we're really putting on pressure here. Cavern Nadu is the main enemy now. Get in for 3. Upkeep stuff for good measure. Tamiyo. Yeah, that card is annoying. I am gonna cast Lightning Bolt on my upkeep to try and flip the Delver. A little bit of selection here. Force of Will. I mean, I'll keep it. And then Cavern plus Nadu will get me. That's how it goes. Yeah, that is, I think, more or less the only thing that crushes me. And there it is. Okay, nice play. Yeah, that's just good deck building, right? That's what the deck does. That's why the card is in the deck, to blank hands like this. Like, these cards are either the best ever or the worst ever in this spot. And no Pyroblast to punish. There's a Bauble. Let's see. Do I daze my own Bauble here to try and get Delirium? Get my opponent to 3? Let's see. Then I get more triggers. Okay, let's try it. So maybe do this first. Reach into the yard. Not bad. So now I have Delirium. Now I have Delirium. Then maybe I don't have to make any Hail Mary Daze plays. Creature land, instant artifact. So now Lightning Bolt is lethal. Okay. Let's see what the opponent is working with. Ponder. And then let's get our opponent to 3. And then I'll have a stop here in case I spike Bolt on my opponent's upkeep. No Bolt. Chandler gone. Brainstorm. Sure. I'm going to fight over removal. I'm going to fight over Nomad and Shuko. Is Shuko beatable? If Shuko is like a draw 2 with Nadu, that is really close. Swords to Plowshares is a card I should force a will. So let's see, if my opponent has Nomad here, were they supposed to play that first? Oh, wow. A blocker right into my daze. My opponent doesn't know about this daze. Did I just win the game? My opponent needs force blue card here. Do not die. Oh, wow. That was sick. That was super sick. They needed Narcomoeba here. So what do I do if the opponent leads on Narcomoeba? It doesn't change anything. Then the plow can just get dazed. Wow. Okay. I got away with it here. The opponent had the perfect lineup here with turn 3 Nadu. And then took just too much damage to stabilize. Whew, that was sick. Thin margins winning with tempo. I guess that's how the deck goes. Let's see if we can have some more of those. All right. More tempo action. I'm playing Izzet. Delver Cutter. And I'm on the draw here. This hand looks great. Let's see what we're up against. Underground Z, Thoughtseize. This hand is surprisingly good against Thoughtseize. Opponent takes a Channeler right away. I'm going to play a Channeler and a Bauble. Channeler. I'm ready to daze a daze here. Bauble. Noxious Revival. So I'm getting... Oh boy. Are we up against Reanimator? I am ready to make that gamble. Here's a Fatal Push. I guess we're not up against Reanimator. That's how it goes sometimes. Looks like Dimir Tempo, which is really, really hard to play against. Here's Fatal Push. My opponent successfully got rid of the threats with very little sweat. Let's try and find a land here off a Ponder. That is not really a land, so I think I have to shuffle these. Also note that this Noxious Revival, you know, can recur a land if I get super desperate. I'm going to shuffle here. Go find a Wasteland. I guess I'll wait until my opponent's draw step. Is that even right? If I wait, my opponent can Brainstorm. If I don't wait, my opponent gets to Surveil. How do I play this the best? My opponent knows about the daze, so they're never going to slam a Bowmaster into the daze. Okay. I'll try and pass here. Wasteland, no Brainstorm, so I don't know if that decision is right, but it worked out. 4 cards. In theory, they could still be Reanimator. I think I should hang on to that for a little longer. Here's Force of Will. Will daze a Bowmaster, to the surprise of no one. I think I have to shuffle these. I get my hands on a land. Now the question is what to do. I think passing here is okay. It's a good move against a, you know, Murktide Daze turn coming up that I'm very weak against. Let's see, let's see. Yeah, Dimir Tempo. I guess it's not confirmed, but Dimir Tempo is a nightmare of a matchup. They have so many good cards for us. Okay, so this smells a lot of Bowmaster getting slow rolled against Ace. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Am I ready to cash in that Noxus Revival and assume I'm up against Tempo? Maybe the Force of Will is my contingency plan here. So what do I do? Noxious onto the Chandler? Tough play. Not really what you want to do in a perfect world. But that Fatal Push just... That Fatal Push is what tricks me here. All right. Chandler on the stack. What could this possibly be? We also have confirmed the opponent is actually straight up Demir. There's no Grixis shenanigans or whatever since they're mixing these fetches. Is this... No, this is not the Bowmaster. That's that card. Sure. I'm willing to let that happen. Pass. Okay. So I guess we're kind of back where we started. I'm still trying to play around Bowmaster. I don't think I'm allowed... Oh, what's this? Okay, so my opponent's willing to get dazed here. I like that. Since Brazen actually trades with Chandler, I like that. The opponent responds, so I don't get the bonus. Kind of forcing the issue. So what does this mean? This means that they have a Baragoyf coming. So what am I supposed to do about this? I think what I'm supposed to do is trying to find a wasteland on this turn. How do I do that? I do that by bobbling. Nope, not interested in that. Let me check my opponent's deck here. Another land. So I guess Wasteland isn't that great now. So what I should do is Brainstorm Fetch. Brainstorm. Surveil. I guess I'm looking for a Chandler, Delver, etc., etc. Will get kind of crushed by Bowmaster, so maybe this is my hitch. Draw this card. Noxious Revival, probably bad. The thing is, there could still be Entomb Reanimated in my opponent's hand, which is super funny. So maybe... Okay, if I'm fetching, which cards... Yes. This is how I play. Pass the turn. Looking to bolt the upkeep Bowmaster if it's there. Shoot. I forgot about this. Let's draw the Noxious. I'm not sure. I might have messed up here. Should have fetched, I think. I think there's a Baragoyf coming. With the way my opponent played here, there's something coming that is losing to Daze. Let's see. It'll push that card. Yeah. Forcing this card. How does that sound? Kind of atrocious. Yeah. I messed up this game. I got lost. I think now I'm supposed to draw this Force and cast a Ponder. The other play is to just put Chandler back and recast it. Put Chandler back and recast it. Yeah, Magic is too hard of a game. Channeler, Force of Will on the top of the deck. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. And they've shown double Fatal Push. No signs of any Nethergoyf. Any... Is this Kaito? Okay, so I'm probably getting forced back here. Let's... Force mill over the Force of Will. The only thing the opponent can have is Force. Yeah, Force blue card. Okay. So Tameo resolves, but I think I have it covered. So I get to Lightning Bolt Kaito. That's not bad. I get to do it on upkeep, I guess. Let's bolt the Kaito. Nice draw. So my opponent's last card is probably another Kaito, I'm trying to think, because they would have played Murktide. They would have played Borrower. That card. Okay. The last card was Daze. That's, of course, annoying. Very good for me. The opponent misses here. Let's see if they miss again. They mill over another go if they can play it. They keep the card. I'm probably in trouble here. So the last card was Bowmaster, probably. Or Brazen Borrower. I mean, I don't have any moves here. I'm just supposed to attack. I expect to get Bowmaster at end of turn. They didn't. Interesting. I mean, I'm just going to keep attacking here and see where that takes me. Surveil Lane would have been insane this game, but no such luck in my list. Here's Brainstorm. Sure. Yeah, it's kind of unthinkable that I get there, I must say. My opponent needs some truly atrocious cards from the top of the deck. And Murktide Regent slams the door on me here. I think I have 1 out in my deck. Okay, that counts. So now it's in my interest to shrink the Chandler so it doesn't have to attack. Is that possible? How many straight up sorceries do I have? 2 sorceries. The problem is I'll have to make it smaller. What's the other alternative? Because I need to get rid of either double creature or double artifact. So what's the best play? Suicide this, probably? Yeah, I think the best play is to make this as big as possible. So instant, suicide the Chandler. Oh, wow, force blue card. Let's daze that card to get a tiny bit of selection into our life. 6. I'm getting hit for 8. That's not going to do it. Okay. The opponent's going to pay. Well played. I'm going to play a land because my only out is to find Brainstorm into double bolt. And with double bolt in the yard, that seems questionable. Okay, that was a sweet game. The opponent had a weird draw for a while. I had to play some terrible Noxious Revivals. Yeah, I messed up on the turn where I put back Noxious and Force of Will. Those ended up being absolutely embarrassing cards. Okay, so let's add these cards. If we can get rid of all forces, that would be amazing. Looks like we can't because of how Hydroblast does not cross over. My list is very focused on not playing against Dimir, so I guess this is a cool showcase of how big of a punishment that is. Yeah, that was a weird game. The opponent's just the opponent's color combination, I'm not going to say threw me off, but it made me prioritize bad cards, which gave them a huge advantage. So they actually got to win a game where their draw was quite bad, to be honest. That's always what you want to do. You want to have draws where you kind of beat the odds. Turn 1 Chandler, hoping for, I guess, a Tameo to kill. That would be ideal. If this gets killed, I'm really, really slowed down. Let's see what the opponent can do. Also, they play Orcish Bowmasters, which is super dangerous. Okay, I draw land, which is awesome. I guess we should try our luck here. Here's Dragon Rage Chandler, putting land into the graveyard. I'm trying to draw 3 cards. I succeed doing that. Let's see. Land instant artifact. So if I mill over the creature, I have Delirium. That's cool. That's very cool. So maybe put back land creature, play bauble, mill borrower. Yeah. Good land, good creature. I would guess if my opponent had Fatal Push, they would have fired it. So this may be just in time to dodge a Bowmaster. Delirium. Sure. Brainstorm away. I get to see a bad card. Uh-huh. Already forgot what I put back. I think it's a land, so I'm supposed to crack here. Then I'm supposed to attack. Then I get a delayed draw here on the upkeep. Land is probably very, very, very bad. Bowmaster's kind of looming. I can force the issue on that card. I think I'm just supposed to attack. Let's see if I get in. Do get in for that damage. That's really good for me. So now I can force the issue with a wasteland. If my opponent Bowmasters from response, I'll brainstorm. That's pretty decent. I'm also delaying Baragoyf. Huh. Blue Blast after taking the damage. Okay. I don't mind. I'll try and dig for Pyroblast. Could also find more 1-drops. They're going to daze my brainstorm to save their land. Cool little play. Okay, so I have a decent turn with Cutter next turn. I should probably hide. Hide the Cutter? Yeah. Let's put back Pyroblast and Cutter. This one is dead. Nothing happens to the land. Daze is not really live. Because I need to go Cutter Bolt, most likely, and try and speed this up. Okay. I don't think I mind this. I think this is fair enough. My next card is Pyroblast. I cannot trigger the Cutter unless I start dazing my own Bolt, which I, just might do. I think that's a reasonable play. I think I need to get going here. So let's see. Bolt. Daze my own card. Return the red land. Pay for the lightning bolt. Play land. Attack for 2. And I'm trying to close out this game, essentially. Orcish Bowmasters. Let's get in for one more prowess here. And now worth noting is I cannot trigger the cutter next turn because of 2 red spells. Well played. Well played by the opponent. Because that clears the way for Baragoyf. So it looks like my opponent got there because they played well with initiating the stack, saving their land with days. Then they played Bowmasters. If I let that resolve and I, you know, the opponent will ping, maybe block. I'll bolt this one, then I still have the days. Yeah. I think my opponent outplayed me here. And that's how we need Magic to be. Good luck. Good luck in the rest. Yeah, great play by the opponent. That was a schooling. A tough matchup, and my opponent played well to boot, so not much to say. We got outclassed there. Let's play one more. All right, last round is upon us. We have a decent one here. Let's see. I think I should try and ensure this Delver flip. Let's play Delver and double bobble. Okay, let's try and understand how to play with 2 bobbles here. So if I look at my own top card, I'm going to know when to, like, how to stack it. So let's see. I have to look at my opponent with 1. Ooh, that deck. Cradle Control is a tough one. 4th land is terrible. I really need to get going with a draw like this. Or, in a matchup like this. Oh, okay, so this is slightly different. This turn 1, White of the Reliquary. That's pretty funny. Turn 1, Thoughtseize, sure. So, yes. You're going to take my Naked Force of Will on my terrible hand here. I feel like I need 2 good cards in a row now, otherwise I'm in trouble. Noxious Revival. That is a card that flips the Delver. Alright, 3-2 Delver assembled. Draw. Lightning Bolt. Is this too early to Noxious Revival my opponent's Thoughtseize? I think it could be too early. Okay, let's try and pass. The thing is, I cannot beat Smallpox. So I hope to be playing against like some White of the Reliquary. I bolt it, I keep attacking. I make them draw a dead card, stuff like that. Here's a White of the Reliquary into Daze. So what does that mean? My opponent is Landlight? Or my opponent wanted that card to get dazed. My opponent only had a tap land. Gotcha. Yes, that works. But now the thing is, sacrifice another creature. For now, this card doesn't do anything. Maybe I should allow it. Also, in theory, I could draw Core Steel Cutter. Let's not... Another bolt. Yeah, let's see. Attack. I feel like the way to win this game is by letting this kind of play out. Is this where I put a Thoughtseize on top of my opponent's deck? They draw Thoughtseize. If they play a creature, probably have to respond by killing this one. All right. You have a Thoughtseize on top of your deck. Pass the turn. The way to win this game for me is that either this Thoughtseize hits the stack, or my opponent taps the hatchery one more time without a way to crack it. Oh my god, that is a creature that doesn't use the stack. That is so good. Wait a minute. So now the opponent can go and search up a creature. Sorry. The opponent can go and search up a land. The opponent's now at 9. What happens if I bolt here? What happens if I bolt this Dried Arbor? Then my opponent will search a land. What will that land do? This is too hard. I'm trying to let this resolve. Let's see if that's any good. The opponent can attack for 4. I basically need my opponent to not realize they're dead. I need them to only play 1 Talon Gates. I don't know if this is realistic. What kind of land can they go get here? Maze of Ith, I guess. Attack. Did I get there? Am I supposed to do... Is there something they can do here? Sacrifice that card. What if I do it on their upkeep? What am I losing to then? I think I'm going to wait, because if my opponent activates, I respond. Okay, I got super lucky here, I think. My opponent didn't sense the sense of urgency here, and I got lucky with my atrocious draw. Hatchery. Is that a trigger? When it dies, then, you know, there's something about that. Abrade seems decent. Day seems very bad. Noxious Revival, very bad. I think we're looking at some of these cards. The prices, probably good at finishing the game. Maybe like 2 consigns and then keep the rest. Probably going to be fine. Okay. So my opponent's on... I guess Smallpox is bad in that deck. This is like a Reclaimer deck. Yeah, Smallpox must be bad in the deck because they have so many creatures, like whites and stuff. Mono blue hand here is bad against creatures. But I don't think I can pass up on turn 1 Delver, turn 2 Wasteland, Digging Power. Wow, I got super lucky in that game 1. Every hatchery damage helped me out there. Ooh, Safekeeper. Safekeeper makes my removal spells just very bad. Okay. So the opponent will play Safekeeper. I'm actually... Ooh, Hogak. That's a cool one. I'm actually leaning Wastelanding my opponent here. Trying to... Lightning Bolt. Maybe that's the same. Let's see. Do they have a land on top of the deck? That will educate me a lot. That is a land that enters tapped as a copy. Is that it? Okay. Not perfect. I will... So I basically have 2 options here. I can either Lightning Bolt a Safekeeper, or I can say, I'm never going to cast removal spells in this game. I'm going to try and Lightning Bolt a Safekeeper. Also, they don't know that they're drawing land. So I could see a situation where they let this die. They don't want to get mana screwed. Okay, so I got my wish. Draw a card. Ponder's very bad. Like when you have these landlight draws, it's just so bad. This looks like a 2-drop around days and then wasteland me afterwards. Yeah, that's gonna do it. All right, all right, all right. Let's try a little bit harder game 3. On the play, Daces against their Mox Diamond deck is terrible, but maybe they're better than Forces. I'm actually gonna try that. 4 days. Ugh. Not what I want to play against, that's for sure. But I think leaning slightly more into the aggressive nature of the deck is playable. Turn 1 Chandler with Daze, Bolt, and a little bit of either a catch-all or flying threat. Volcanic, Chandler, dazing any removal spell, bolting any creature, stuff like that. So also with the Safekeeper, is this a Zenith deck? Like, yeah, I guess it is, because we saw Dryad Arbor as well. They're pretty nice mashup here. Love that deck. Let's think about this card. Reclaimer. If I bolt it... Is Daze better than Bolt later? I think it is. Tough call. Let's kill it on upkeep to get a little selection going. I'm actually going to be happy with a Wasteland here. I'm going to try that out. It makes my days better. I think if the opponent had a forest, they would have just... Oh, right, they fetched a Bayou. I think this is great for me. Mishra's Bauble. Not bad, not bad. So let's Bauble. Put a Ponder into the graveyard. Get Delirium. Look at my own deck. See another Ponder. Guess I'm fine drawing that. Play that card. Attack for 3, draw the Ponder, have the Daze at the ready. Yeah, this is kind of a classic Delver game. Mox Diamond. Is that a card I should ever Daze? I don't know. Seems like a card I would be happy for my opponent to play if I assume that they're landlight. Okay. Here's my Malevolent Rumble, which unfortunately is a card I should Daze, because it's so good at paying for days. So let's Daze the Rumble. Raw Delver. Is that good? I think it's good. The opponent has 3 cards in hand. They're getting beat down in the air. I'm going to play Island to not expose my duel. 12 is my opponent's life total. So let's see. What kind of creatures can they stabilize with? Probably not anything that costs 1 mana. Take your poison, so I get to I have to sacrifice a flyer. That's a sweet card. Mill my get rid of my graveyard to make Murktide a non-issue. Good play, good play. Flipping this Delver, and I'm pretty confident not flipping this Delver, and this will get exciting. Flipping the Delver is great. Cast the Ponder. Quarry Steel Cutter for next turn. I like it a lot. I need my... Well, wait a minute. So Cutter. Okay, so I also need to cast the Ponder in my hand. I think that's totally reasonable. So I'll go like this. Ponder. Murktide Regent. Not bad. So I guess I should have hit the Cutter on top of my deck instead of the Brainstorm. I think that would be slightly better. Maybe not, actually. Let's see. If I do get Thought Seized, I lose the Cutter, 3 cards in the yard. Cast Brainstorm, 4 cards. Fetchline, 5 cards. Okay, I actually accidentally played well. Grist. Sure. Dryad Arbor, kill the Delver. We'll play. I will use a monk to kill the Grist. I will fetch away the Murktide. Cast Brainstorm. Set up a double spell next turn as well. So put back Brazen and Ori, I guess. Kill the Grist. My opponent had 8. I think they're dead next turn. Didn't do the math, though. My opponent has 1 card to play around with. And let's see what that is. Plague Engineer. That's a cool one. All right. So Plague Engineer naming Monk. How am I supposed to play? If I play Core Steel Cutter and I bolt it, I believe that's the best move. Let's see how this works. Ori. Lightning Bolt onto the Plague Engineer. I don't think this is lethal, but could be. This kind of dodges state-based effects, which is pretty cool. And then I'm attacking for 7. My opponent had 1. And I believe my next card is Brazen Borrower, and that's going to do it. So pretty intense tempo stuff going on here, and then some Core Steel cutting when the game was getting close. Nice Plague Engineer. That's a blast from the past. All right. That's going to do it for today's video. I had a lot of fun playing Izzet Tempo. If you like what you see, please consider purchasing the guide, becoming a member. I have tons of stuff over on my Matify. What I'm most proud about is my big and thriving community of passionate legacy gamers. And of course, having a ton of guest articles and my own stuff doesn't exactly hurt either. So yeah, if that's your jam, I hope to see you over there. And if not a problem at all, then I'll see you in the next video instead. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching.